Hello everyone, welcome back to another Nintendo fan video. As you can see, another Nintendo Force issue came recently, and you guys seem to like the previous one, so I'm just going to be here to kind of go through it, talk about some of my thoughts on their articles, and yeah, so let's get right into it. So on the cover here, you can see it's very much themed as the legacy of Super Mario Bros. That's the main issue. So they're going through his 35 years, because of course the big thing this year is Mario's 35th anniversary. It's a nice cover. I really like the melding and the comparison between them. It's just really nice, I think. Then on the front page, you can see they've talked about some of their previous issues with Mario, and then just a lot of the stuff that's going to be coming. Got a cool comic here, as well as some players' poll questions. Here they're talking about the popularity of Animal Crossing New Horizons recently, which I think was a cool article to do kind of an update on. I think that was neat. And then a really expensive Mario case. And this is stuff that I wouldn't normally find out about recently. So I like stuff like this. I really appreciate that they're including because I think it's just cool to have in there. Then of course they talk about the Lego Mario sets because those have been a big thing this year, and the other two Lego sets that have been released themed around the NES and such. And then some amiibo updates. That's something they do a lot, just talking about the more recent amiibo. Here, there's been, for those of you who didn't know, there's been a recent topic on the Pikmin 3 being deleted from the Wii U eShop because it was cheaper than what Deluxe is going to be when it comes out. But as far as I know, it was actually added back to the shop recently, so I'm not sure about that. But of course, they made the magazine before that happened, so there you go. Then, of course, Nintendo World being done but also empty in terms of, you know, progression. So they got an overhead picture of it. And yeah, but of course it's empty because the theme parks are closed. Which I mean, this overhead picture is cool. You can't see a lot from it, but it looks like Bowser's castle is somewhere in here, and then Peach's castle is here as well, and then you just got it looks very Mario, and I think they did a really good job with it from what I can tell. Then, of course, they have the forecast, the new stuff coming out. So we have Skywalker Saga, which was actually delayed until next year, so that's not coming out. Pikmin 3 Deluxe, which is going to be coming out soon, and some other games, Bakugan, Sukuna, and then, of course, some theorizing on some ports and or remasters or remakes and such like that, because that's been a big topic recently. And of course, this magazine was done before the Super Mario Bros. Direct, and I'll talk about this a little more because some of their articles are about that. But yeah, so of course they did this before. And then DLC, you got the Crown Tundra for Pokemon. Here they have an article of Super Mario Tour, I think. Super Mario Kart Tour or something, the mobile game, and how it's got a huge roster of characters that they aren't bringing into the main thing, and how it's kind of disappointing. And like, I thought this was really cool because I didn't download the app, and so I was super surprised that they've added all these characters, even if it's for a gacha system. I thought that was really cool. You got some eShop stuff coming, so just some digital games. And then you got your reviews for the digital games, the smaller indie stuff. Of course, you have Min Min. They reviewed her. She got a pretty good score, as most of the Smash DLC gets. Just a lot of that. Gonna skip through some of this. I haven't read all that yet. And then, of course, a review for the first DLC, Isle of Armor for Pokemon. We have another comic here. A lot of the comics are running through. They have a lot of repeating series, I should say, going through it. And then we have the main feature, which is super cool in my opinion. So this is a complete history of of Mario. So from the original appearance to Donkey Kong and all the way through, they got multiple paragraphs about each year to 2020, and this was a crazy endeavor in my opinion, but I think they did a really good job with it. I just finished reading it yesterday. It takes a long time. I invested some time into reading this, but it was really interesting for me, I think, just seeing all the games that came out and how it kind of led up to what we have now. I thought it was a really cool article. So the end of the feature there, you got another comic, then some previews, and because nothing is coming out, they are talking about some rumors, but I think their theories are really interesting here. So of course it did happen, but I think I didn't actually read this until after the direct came out. So I thought it was really interesting to see what their thoughts were beforehand. And of course they addressed that it might be, you know, that the direct might come out before you get the magazine or something right here with 3 scenarios and such. So they were very aware of what they were doing. And I don't know. I think the articles are even more interesting now that we've gotten the reveal of everything. Of course, I think there is generally less than, except for Bowser's Fury, for the 3D remasters, there's less than a lot of people were theorizing for just because it was hopeful. But I think what we got is perfectly fine. Still really exciting for me. And then they have another 3D remasters theory page. And then they talk about Pikmin 3 Deluxe. And I mean, I already knew most of the information that was in it, but I just like to read the articles anyway, see their take on it, and I thought this was nice. Even though I know the Pikmin, it's always interesting to read about the little types, and the setup is really nice on this page. You have some more previews for actual games coming that were guaranteed as of then. Another comic break. This is actually my favorite comic in the magazine, Rest O, because I don't know, I just find it really hilarious. I think it's very it embodies some video game culture. It's just really nice. Then, of course, they have a retro section. And of course, I haven't read all of this, but 35 years later for Super Mario Bros., so they went and played it. This magazine inspired me. They have a challenge at the back to go and complete Super Mario Bros., and I did. I cheated, though, shall we say, because on the Nintendo Switch Online, you have the rewind feature. So I am not skilled enough to complete it otherwise, but I did go and beat it. So yeah, I think that's really cool. You got Hotel Mario, some more Mario games that maybe weren't older games that weren't really treated well or something like that, something maybe forgotten and such. They have a character profile on the Hammer Bros, which I just think is really hilarious. Just doing a character profile on just a Mario enemy, I think it's hilarious. But they have put a lot of information here that I didn't necessarily know, and I like the variant section. They're acknowledging that a lot of others spawned from that. So yeah, it's a cool thing. And then of course they have a thing about what Nintendo Power was doing. They're going through the Nintendo Power issues because of course they consider this the spiritual successor to that. Then of course you have an interview with I believe the developer of this game. I cannot for the life of me remember what it's about. I know it's going into like the intestines of a dog or something. I don't quite remember. But then this is another comic with a series going on. Then they have their reviews. So Paper Mario, I know it came out in July, but this issue is for September and October, and the previous one was, of course, for July and August. So they weren't able to do it then, but got a pretty good score. I think that's a fair score to give it, to be honest, because it has its flaws, but it's a good game, in my opinion. I always read some of these articles, even if I've already played the game. I just find them really interesting, the way they write them. Again, I feel like I should clarify it, not a sponsor. I just, obviously, I just enjoy the magazine. They have the Clubhouse Games, which has kind of been a big deal recently. I think it's died down, but when it first released, a lot of people were talking about it. I haven't played it myself, but it looks nice. I like the article. I should read this. I haven't quite yet, but I like that they're including some of the top games, recommending what to play. That's nice. You have some more games here. All these reviews. I haven't really done most of these. Everyone seems to like Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition a lot, so I think a 10 is probably going to be generally representative of what people think. And then you have the last review and their archive of previous reviews. And then they do mention, because one of their first issues, I think, was Super Mario 3D World, and they had a review of that. So reminder that they did a review on that before, which is cool. Then in the community, there was of course the Giga Leak that was through all the games in Nintendo's early history, and they found that Luigi was in an early form of the game. There's a lot of other stuff there, but I thought that was interesting. Then you have someone who's like, I believe, modded Super Mario 64 onto the PC or something. Got another comic here, and we're just about done. So they have a preview for the next issue, which currently is going to be Crown Tundra. I have a feeling that instead they're going to do it on the remakes because as of that issue, they might have played it already. So I have a feeling they'll be doing it on that, but we'll have to see. And then, of course, they have the Save the Princess challenge that inspired me to go and do that. So they were telling people, hey, if you haven't beat it, maybe you should go do it. So that was cool. And then on the back, you have a little action series here with all the links to their stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I just think this is a really good magazine. I quite enjoyed it. I think it's got a lot of depth, especially with the main feature. Like that's a really long article, and I think it's more than they normally do. They went above and beyond with this. I enjoyed it. So there you go. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and other than that, have a great day.